You know, it's decently cold outside, but this car was sitting all day and the sun was beating on it, so despite it being cold, it is a hot box in here, and the AC doesn't work, so hopefully you can hear me with the windows down. I decided to start to record this one while my mind was kind of... because I did drink coffee today. It was kind of like a farewell kiss to it, because I know I need to stop now. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of things I'm not going to be able to do, because I'm just going to have to sit with recovering, you know, going through the withdrawals and the caffeine, letting my body go back to, whatever. Also, I just kind of was like, I was at that point where, the mind was clear, and I could tell, sneaking up was another thing, that it was going to be some made-up thing in my brain that was going to cause a whole issue. It's still trying to cling on there, but, obviously, I'm sitting here acknowledging it, trying to stop it for a minute, because the caffeine, despite it being, it'll just be like a farewell kiss to it thing. It's still doing what it does, it's making me super anxious, and, all these kind of things, despite things kind of weirdly being okay at the same time. It's like confusing my brain. It's like something should be wrong right now, which is like same old. But yeah, I'm about to go grab some Mickey D's right now. I don't have like any money, so I'm using the points for that to give me some food while I can before my brother has to take this vehicle to work, and I can't use my work vehicle when I'm not working. Technically you can like swing by the store on the way home, and that's like the most you can do. The second you're off the clock, you can't touch it. You can't actually go back on the clock if you need to like clean out your vehicle. Obviously you want to get paid to do that, and you're allowed to. It's not just a me thing. It's like if you're gonna do things that are technically work involved like that, or you're gonna take these U+ things, which is like little courses we have to do every now and then, do that on the clock, get paid for that. So thankfully in our app we can clock in and clock out whenever during the fucking day. I'm getting way off track, but I actually don't know. There was actually something specifically I was gonna say that didn't just involve me trying to catch myself before I let the new thing try to like get into my head. What I was kind of getting at was that this dude's riding my ass. I thought it was a cop too. I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm going the speed limit. Anyway, that's also funny how many times cops speed. Anyway, yeah. I guess I was just kind of like, I don't know, trying to really like, because I didn't journal this morning, so this is kind of my way of doing it, but I don't really have much to touch on right now. I'm just kind of like capturing, I mean, it's not a perfect moment right now, but capturing the moment before I descend into madness, so I can make sure I'm not, going too far into there. There's still something I need to probably, there's still things like, I still need to take a moment to kind of breathe and work through everything before I come back to this or whatever like that. This isn't going to solve everything. This camera angle is also fucking horrible. It's actually kind of good at the same time. I don't know. I mean, it's also just reminded me of how much weight I need to lose right now. I'm just getting this McDonald's because it's cheap. Unfortunately, it's the trap we all fall into. Anyway, yeah, I gotta not stress eat so much. But yeah, I just noticed that, and this is something I've always tried to do, but I think I caught it early enough to kind of see when my brain was like spiked. Because like I literally had a moment where I was perfectly okay, but as a result, you go on spiral or whatever. But I don't tend to catch it early enough. I think I'm catching it, maybe not as early as I should have, but early enough right now for me to kind of just, I don't know, acknowledge it, recognize that it's there, and then just kind of move on from it. And yeah, I'm still kind of trying to, I'm sitting too much you know, with the what ifs of whatever, you know, it's like, you know, what if I'm forgetting this, da 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 da. But whatever. At this point, who gives a fuck? I mean, I always say that, but really, you know, you run into a point where it's like you kind of just not run out of options, but you're just kind of like, you know, you've exhausted every avenue you can go to try to make things a bigger deal than what they actually are. So, like, you know, yeah. Anywho, I'm about to pull in the drive-thru right now. I'll continue this later. Anywho, it is, you know, kind of, hang on a second. Okay. Thought I saw a hot chick. It is kind of amazing. I mean, I've always said it is amazing how the mind works. You know, and actually, I'm just thinking right now. It's like, you know, when I say capitalize on those moments where everything seems fine, it's more just kind of like not focus on keeping that going as much as just, what do I want to say? Just making, I think I've kind of touched on it before, you know, working with the not so great stuff about yourself and about the way you think and stuff like that. It's just like, when you have the opportunity to acknowledge how ridiculous that is and you actually have a clear head, trying to grasp onto that too hard is going to make it difficult to stay there. Instead, it's like, capitalize on that moment for the moment being what it is, and then just look to that moment as reference when you're going through it again, because it's not going to go away as you're going through it, but at least you know, you can comfort yourself with the thought that it will, it is fine, even though if it doesn't feel like it. This is just a weird, like, technically everything right now is just fine, but you have this weird, you have this disease, this sickness that's kind of like, it's like going through life, you know, with like a sore throat or a stuffy nose or something like that. It sucks, but you can function, you know. It's like having a cold versus, you know, I mean, you know, you're not, you know, if you can let it kind of slide, it sucks because you're still sick, but it's more like you're just walking around having just like a basic cold versus if you let it get to you too much, now you have fucking cancer or like something more extreme, you know, you have a really terrible, just awful flu, or you have, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, you have, I mean, I guess cancer is a decent one, but that can mean it. Sometimes you have cancer that has like no symptoms, but like, I mean, maybe, I don't know a lot about cancer. I've only known 2 people that have had it. They both had pretty extreme reactions, so I don't know. I know it's a little different, but anyway, I'm getting way off track. Yeah, so acknowledging that, and yeah, me. This is something I know, but not trying to make everything perfect all the time, or trying not to perform for myself so often, because that version of yourself that you really want to be comes out when you're not so hell-bent on being that person right now. Okay. Fucking jackasses. Anyway, yeah, no, when you're not so hell-bent on that, you know, that's what I was realized about myself. It's weird because then when I realize I am like when I stop self-sabotaging and I'm going to I'm like in the zone on something, and then unfortunately when I have the realization like, oh, I'm doing really good right now that I'm aware of it, now I'm self-conscious of it again. I remember I used to like struggle with eye contact for years, and at one point I started getting really good at it, but then I became aware of how good I was at it, and now it's like, now I don't know what to do. Yeah. And, you know, even as I'm sitting here, you know, the caffeine's working through me, and thing after thing keeps coming up, but I just kind of brush it off. It'd be so easy to sit with it. And it's this weird thing with me right now, with my specific thing, I'm maybe getting off topic of what I was originally talking about, but I have this thing where I start, where because of the caffeine, the anxiety isn't just normal anxiety. Anxiety always comes in waves, but it's so much more apparent with the caffeine. It's like the highs of, the feeling real good are real good, but then the high of like the anxiety part ends up being real bad. It ends up like it's an enhancement drug. It's a stimulant. So it stimulates anything you might be already feeling right now. So me just being an anxious person, it makes that. But the thing that makes it so addicting is like if you're already feeling good, you get yourself some caffeine and But if you're feeling like shit, you're anxious and shit, and then that gets worse. It's this whole double-edged sword thing. So it's learning with how to live without that stimulant. Because as much as I hate the anxiety factor of it, I love the high of it. I love the when I'm feeling good, I'm feeling really good. So it's like, but it's just not worth it in the end. You see all the things that negatively affects you. Hell, it's the same thing with alcohol. Though alcohol, I will say, was a little. Actually, you could say it was different with caffeine in the beginning too. Because for alcohol, when I really started drinking hard, that first year was all positives and no consequences. Like, I felt good, I was out of my head, everything was working just perfectly. It was drowning out what I needed it to drown out. I was focused on what I needed to do, and I did what I needed to do. Everything worked well. I was more social. I was getting pussy. Not a crazy amount. I've never been into one night stand thing. I wasn't into relationships or anything like that, but I was very much into the friends with benefits thing. If I got with a girl, I was trying to make it long term, but I wasn't trying to have an emotional connection, and that doesn't always work. Though I will say, a lot of guys don't. There are some crazy bitches that it's going to be different, but a lot of women respect when you're honest about what you want, and that's what I wanted at the time. I didn't realize that maybe I did want more than that, and I just wasn't honest with myself. We don't have to get into that. No, but that first year was all positives for me and no negatives. And then it slowly started turning on me. And I'm still chasing after that moment in time where it was all positive, but that doesn't exist anymore. It does more damage than good, but I'm still chasing after what it used to be because I'm sad to lose that. Because I will say, in a lot of ways, that was kind of the highlight of my whole fucking life right there. It's sad to say, but that year, but it's never coming back, and I think that's the part that you chase after so much is because you're in denial about you're never going to have that again, and you keep wanting to go back to that. Hell, I think that's like the fucking, the story of my whole life here. It's me clinging to things, being in denial about it's never going to be how it was. And that's sad. And it's true when I say that it's never going to be how it was. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it is still a sad thing because you remember the way certain things were great, that they will never be great in that way. They can be great in other ways now, and you have to look on that side of it, but you still have that part of you that's like, but this was really good, but I won't have that again. I won't have the clear, just don't give a fuck about anything feeling that I had for that first year of drinking, where everything worked perfectly for me. I was not paralyzed with my anxiety anymore. Everything went well. In that 1 year that I was drinking heavily, everything went well. And then I just have to accept that that's never going to come back. You could say it's like it wasn't even bad at the moment. I don't think so. Honestly, that was a pretty good year. And that's the sadness that you have to accept. That a lot of us had to accept. The rehab is like the honesty of the fact. Be honest with the fact that there were moments where it was actually really good. It wasn't like, oh, but this. No, there were moments where everything about it was a positive. So that's the thing you have to come to grips with, is you're never going to have that again. Yes, you can transition into other things and have other positives in your life, but obviously that takes a lot of work. So there's part of you that misses that easy, quick fix to things, because there were moments where it actually did work, that you didn't have all these consequences. You were young and you barely got hangovers no matter how much you drank and all that kind of shit. We've all experienced that. Well, yeah, you just don't, what helps you in recovery is being honest about the fact that it was fun. You know, not being so. I mean, there's definitely a lot of preachiness. There's a lot of it that has so much consequences that I'm being real about. Obviously, there's a reason I don't do it anymore. But there were moments where everything about it was really awesome, and you miss it for good reason. So you have to be honest about that part. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that don't have this issue. It's what my dad doesn't understand and shit like that. They don't understand the fact that, like, you know, they get concerned when they hear us talk like that. I'm like, that's the only reason we get through it. That's the only reason that's not the only reason, but that's like one of the top reasons we get through sobriety, is being honest with ourselves about the fact that it was fucking fun when we did it. Yeah. Hang on. So anyway, yeah. It just comes back to, you know, doing these kind of videos to hold myself accountable, so that I'm not, I don't know, so that I'm telling the truth about today, you know, about it being the last time that I drink caffeine. Now, there's that part of me that's like, maybe if I say that, that'll do me for failure, because I'll fuck up. But then again, at the same time, I'm like, what if I said it the other way, where I'm like, it might be the last time, and then that gives me kind of like, you know, putting that might in there or something like that is going to give me this out, this door that it so yeah, so I just like, yeah, I'm not able to, so it's easy for me to be like, you know, to have that excuse to do it again and to fuck up again and not stick to what I'm trying to do. So kind of fighting with myself on that one. That's something I gotta think about. But yeah, this is very caffeine anxiety fueled kind of rant about everything, so I feel like I went real ADHD about everything, but I feel like there's still kind of an underlying thing I still kind of got at. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm okay right now. Just kind of, I'm here. I just need to ride the wave of today. Definitely. And learn to keep riding the wave of the rest of the week, because the withdrawals of from the caffeine are going to almost kill me probably. So something I gotta deal with. Yeah. Just keep you updated, I guess.